Ms. Feely, your machine is working? Doesn't look like the prosecutor's machine is on. Is it? No, do you need it?
No.
Okay. Gallery is on. Great. And witness is on. Okay. Well, let's go on the record. We are together again for State versus Hall. It's Tuesday around 9:30. Apologize for the late start. I forgot that I had that meeting with those people this morning. When we ended yesterday, Mr. Abate shared that the state was thinking about calling my term educational expert about how firearms work, in particular, the way shell casings eject, et cetera. And Mr. Abate made clear that this was not someone who would offer any opinions about whether a gun was fired or what came from where, wouldn't be amplifying on any of the findings that Mr. Jarvis made that are the subject of the stipulation between the parties, but would really just be telling the jurors, based on this witness's expertise, the basics of firearm operation. And I forgot, Ms. Feely, to ask you what you thought about that and to let you get on the record what you wanted to concerning. Mr. Abate was clear this was a late notification. There hadn't been a plan to do that because, of course, those are the kinds of things Mr. Jarvis could have covered if he was able to testify, that he wouldn't have needed to put in an expert report because it wasn't a specific finding. It's knowledge gathered from working in that field. So I had indicated that I thought that was appropriate, but I didn't let you say it's not appropriate or we don't have an issue or whatever. So I want to give you a chance to do that. Before you do, my request of the state is that they let you know when this witness is here. This witness needs to be here in advance of his or her testimony so that you or your colleague could chat with the witness briefly. I don't think it's going to be a shocker what the person has to say, but you certainly should have an opportunity to talk to the person in advance of his or her testimony.
As long as the person is not offering an opinion, which it sounds like they're not, and we don't have to show it.
Okay. Anything change on that front, Mr. Abate? It's not an opinion witness. It's an expert. You can qualify the person if you want, but it's an educational expert about how guns fire, what happens with shell casings, et cetera.
Correct, Judge. Just be someone we'd ask those questions and pose some hypotheticals to, and that would be it.
Okay. All right. Then we'll work through that accordingly. Anything else from the state before we bring the jurors in?
Yeah. I just want to bring up when Second Barry testifies, I do plan to play Mrs. Stucky's statement. I mean, I'm going to play the whole thing instead of jumping from part to part.
How long is it?
So I'll be able to jump around. It's like about 2 hours long, but there's a lot of dead time where she's in the room by herself. I can skip those parts, but my worry is if I start trying to go second by second, as many times I think we need to impeach some of the things she said, we're just going to get a lag and it's going to go. So I think it would be smoother to play it through. I've got the timestamps of where to start and the big jumps we will make.
The only thing you'd be omitting would be when she's in the room by herself, or at least there's no interview happening, or would there be parts of the interview you'd be skipping because you don't think they're relevant, or there's some issue with them and they shouldn't come in?
I mean, there's the first like 4 minutes of the interview where she talks about trying to find her dog that ran away. I don't really intend to start right there.
Okay.
At the beginning, when they jump into what happened, and then we'll skip when the detective leaves the room, and then there's also.
Okay, Ms. Feely, what are your thoughts about that?
So it's been a little while since I've heard that statement, so I'm gonna listen to it again at a break, but I think we'll still run into some prior difficulties stuff, if I recall correctly.
Okay,
The only prior difficulty stuff, the stuff that we talked about, you said with the man, you have the, wasn't tried to leave him, multiple times, and that she also, was crying to her daughter in the car about what happened and told them about the, tire slashing incidents.
okay, which would be impeachment, because that's not what Ms. Stucky said happened, when you asked her there.
Correct.
Okay, nothing about Puerto Rico?
Okay, that's, yeah. Yeah, and I was not gonna play, when she's talking, when she's in the room by herself talking, she does mention about her apartment being ransacked towards the end of the video. I wasn't planning on.
Who's she talking to?
She is talking to somebody I don't know who she's talking to.
I mean, she's on a phone.
She's on her phone.
Got it. You'll skip that. Okay, please do. What you should cover, unless on the phone, she said, I can't believe he didn't shoot in self-defense or something like that. None of that comes in. It would just be her interactions with Detective Barry.
Yes.
Okay. All right. And Detective Barry is testifying when today? Before lunch, after lunch?
I think before lunch, but
Before lunch.
yeah.
Okay. Ms. Feely, you had said you want to listen to it again. I don't know if you guys want to divide and conquer. I don't know that you'll have a chance to listen to it again before Detective Barry testifies. But it may be her testimony starts and we have to break for lunch anyway, and we don't get to Ms. Stucky's statement. So I don't know how you want to work through that, but you do have a trial partner. Okay. Anything else from the state?
Not from myself around.
Mr. Hiles, are you doing the examination of Ms. Scott?
I'm not. I'm doing Detective Barry.
Okay. Who's doing Ms. Scott?
I don't know.
All right. What I may do when you play the videos is stop the YouTube feed and just see if that makes it work better. And I can start it again when the videos are done. And maybe that will avoid some of the issues. All right. Ms. Feely, did you have anything else we needed to work through before I bring the jurors in?
No.
How are we with the stipulation? Has it been typed up?
I just have to copy and paste it to my email.
Okay.
I'll get that done.
Okay. Sounds good. Let's bring the jurors in, please.
All right, adjourn.
Need a traffic guard at that intersection right there.
As the president of the county club.
Thank you, Deputy Gordon. Everyone can be seated. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen.
Good morning.
Thank you for being on time. The lawyers were all on time. I got stuck in something else, so we're getting a slightly late start. I'll own that. We also had to talk about a few things, the lawyers and I, so that we could have things flow as smoothly as possible this morning. We are ready to get going, haven't worked through that. We remain in the midst of the state's case, so I will ask Mr. Abate who the state is calling next.
They were calling Scott.
All right.
And Judge, while Ms. Scott's coming, can we briefly approach for 2 seconds?
Okay. The camera? Yeah, sure. You all right with that? Okay.
You swear affirm that the testimony you will give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth of God. Have a seat. Page 39, the record.
Sorry, the chair doesn't have wheels, so just give it a big tug.
Nirvana, Nivona, last name Scott, Scott.
Good morning, Ms. Scott.
Good morning.
Can you tell the jurors how old you are
23.
and what do you do for a living?
I go to school from,
Her name.
her name is Jalea. She's 4 years old.
She's how old?
4.
And can you tell the jurors, does your mom or do you have family who, can you tell the jurors, how do you know Corey Blunt?
He was my boyfriend.
And how did y'all meet?
We been to each other when we was younger. And then I really met him through a friend again. Like we re-met all over again. And then it just went from there.
Okay. And did you guys, after you guys got introduced or reacquainted with each other, did you were you in a relationship?
Yes, we were.
And can you tell the jurors, I guess, before he was killed, how long were you guys in a relationship after you got reacquainted with each other?
7 months.
Okay. And can you tell the jurors, were you guys living together?
Yes, we were.
And what area, you don't have to tell me the address, but what area of town were you guys living at?
In East Point.
Okay. And was it just you, Corey, and your daughter living together?
Yes. Yes, it was.
And were you, was it a house, was it an apartment?
It was an apartment.
All right. And before Corey was killed, how long had you guys been living together?
We was really living together because it was around the same time we got together. So I say 6 months because it took us a month.
Okay. Now, did Corey have a car?
Yes, he did.
Okay. Do you remember what kind it was?
It was a Ford Focus, a red Ford Focus.
Red Ford Focus? Okay.
Yes.
Now tell me, do you know someone by the name of Jason Hall?
Yes, I do.
Okay. And how do you know that person?
That was my mom's boyfriend.
Okay. And I guess how long have you known that person?
About 7, 8 years.
Okay. And did you meet him when you were a kid?
Yeah, I met him when I was younger, probably like 14, 13.
Okay. And you said you'd known him for 7 to 8 years. During that time, was Mr. Hall and your mom always or were they in a relationship?
Yes, they were.
Okay. And during the time in those years that you had known, obviously, were you living with your mom as a kid?
No,
Okay. Did you visit her often?
sometimes, yeah.
Okay. And during those years, did you know Mr. Hall and your mom to live together, or did they live separately?
They lived separately. They never lived together.
And can you describe to the jurors like the years that you had known Mr. Hall? Do you remember anything about his hair? What did his hair look like through those years?
The whole time I known him, he always had dreads.
Okay. And when you say dreads, can you kind of describe to the jurors or show the jurors on yourself kind of how long his dreads were?
They stopped like right here,
When you say right here, it looks like
arm length. I can't explain. I can't really remember how long.
looks like it's a
'cause-
couple inches
Yeah.
past your shoulder.
Yeah.
Longer than your hair or shorter?
Uh,
Or about the same?
probably the same, but
Not red?
hair done. So, it was like sometimes it was short, sometimes it looked long, but it'll be long. It's longer than being by his neck. It was always longer than that.
And, now tell me, do you see, the person who you know as, Jason Hall here in the courtroom today?
Yes, I do.
And, if you'll do me a favor, would you, identify him by an article of clothing that he's wearing, in the general vicinity of the courtroom where he's sitting?
He has on a blue shirt and a blue tie.
Okay, and who's sitting, can you describe the person that's sitting to his right?
I can't really see. It's right. Oh, it would be the lady in the orange sweater.
Okay, Your Honor, let the record reflect the witness, Ms. Scott has identified the defendant, Jason Hall.
She has?
And Miss Scott, was the last time that you saw the defendant on April 30th of 2022,
Yes,
the night that Corey was killed?
yes,
And on the night that Corey was shot and killed, did the defendant have the long dreads that you described?
yes, he did.
Okay. And is his hair different as you
Yes.
today?
Yes, it is. I wouldn't even have recognized him if he walked in the room like that.
But you did
But
recognize.
I do recognize him. I'm saying, yeah,
You're saying it's that dramatic of a change?
yeah. Like I've never seen him with his haircut.
Now, let's talk about that day, April 30th, and sometimes before it, okay? Back in April of 2022, can you tell the jurors, do you remember where your mom was living?
She was living at 537 Sunset Way.
Okay, and
Are you about to play a video?
no. How long had your mom lived at that 537 Sunset address?
About 4 years.
Right, and in those 4 years, did you go to that apartment and visit her fairly often?
Yes, I did.
I want to show you what's already been admitted into evidence. It states Exhibit 2. Is that the 537 apartment?
Yes, it is.
And over the years that you went to that apartment to visit your mom, was the defendant there?
He'll be there sometimes, but when I come, he won't be there sometimes. It'll be because he had his own place, so he won't be there sometimes.
And did you know, I guess, from being around him and your mom together, where I guess his place was?
Yes, I did.
And where was it?
It was in East Point as well.
Not far from where you and Corey.
Yeah, it wasn't far at all. Literally up the street.
Now, on that night that Corey was killed, can you tell the jurors, did you have plans to go to your mom's house?
Yes, I did.
Okay, and can you tell the jurors why?
We was dropping my daughter off because she wanted to take my daughter and my nephew to the aquarium in the morning.
You say she, who's she?
My mother, Stucky.
Okay, and was it something that you guys had planned?
Yes, we planned it like earlier that same day.
All right, Ms. Rivers is gonna kill me if we keep talking at the same time.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, just let him finish his question. You probably know what he's going to ask, but we need to make sure he's done so that Ms. Rivers can put the question mark, and then she'll shift to whatever your answer is. Okay?
Okay, I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
That's okay. Thank you.
You like me to talk fast. So. Now, you said you guys had planned for your mom to take your daughter and your nephew.
To the aquarium.
And do you remember about what time you were planning to drop your daughter off that evening?
It was around 9:30. It was around that time.
And were you gonna drop your daughter off alone, or did anybody come with you?
Corey came with me.
Okay. And I want to show you what's been marked. States Exhibit 1. What's this? Tell me if you recognize it.
Yes, I do.
And what is State's Exhibit 1?
That's Corey Blunt, my boyfriend.
And the State's Exhibit 1 fairly and accurately depict Corey before he was killed.
Yes.
Your Honor, at this time, the state would tender what's been marked as State's Exhibit 1 into evidence.
Any objection, Ms. Feely?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, submitted.
Now, you said you and Corey, and is that how Corey looked, or about how he looked the
Yes.
night he was killed?
He had little plaits in his hair, but that's him. That's how he
A
looked.
little different.
Yeah.
And did Corey have any like tattoos, some artwork on his neck?
Yes, he had his mother's name on one side and his grandmother's name on the other side.
Okay, do you know what's his grandmother's name?
Vicky Bell.
Okay, and then you said his mom's name was tattooed on the other side. What's her name?
Yes. Sharonda Bell.
And so you guys were gonna drop your daughter off. How are you gonna get there?
I drove his car.
Okay. And how long does it take you guys to get to your mom's house from where you guys are living in East Point?
It's 20 minutes, but about 15 if you know where you're going.
Okay. And when you leave, does your mom know when to expect you, or do you do anything to let her know that you're on your way?
Yes, I texted her and said I'm on the way. And then when I got there, I said I'm outside.
Okay. And tell the jurors when you and Corey and your daughter, what's your daughter's name again?
Jalea.
Leia. When you three arrived at the apartment, can you tell the jurors, did you all get out and go right up upstairs?
No, we didn't.
Okay. Tell them why.
Because I heard arguing coming from upstairs, loud arguing and loud music.
Okay. And describe to the jurors, well, you said you heard loud arguing. Did you recognize any of the voices?
Yes, I recognized my mom's voice and Jason's voice.
Okay. And while we're talking about Jason, did you call him Jason or did he have a nickname?
He had a nickname.
And what did you know him as?
Dre.
Ray?
Yes.
And so you arrive, you hear your mom and the defendant arguing. Describe to the jurors, can you hear what they're saying?
No, because the music was also loud. So it just was screaming, like you just heard screaming back and forth. You couldn't really hear what they were saying.
Okay. And this is gonna sound like a silly question, but how did you know that it was, they were screaming and it was an argument and it wasn't, they were just screaming because the music was loud?
It sound aggressive. It was aggressive.
And was it the first time you had heard them arguing that would, I guess, tip you off that it was aggressive?
No.
Relevance to times other than the day of.
Okay, overruled for this question.
Not going any further.
Okay.
Now, once you guys arrived, you hear the arguing. Can you tell the jurors, since you didn't go right up, what did you do next?
I was going to turn my car on and just leave. But then she came downstairs. But I didn't see her coming down until Corey tapped me and was like, there go your mama. And then she was coming towards the car.
Okay. And as she comes downstairs and comes towards the car, can you tell the jurors a little bit about the interaction that you and your mom and Corey and your daughter had?
She was coming around the corner and she looked upset. And when she walked towards the car, she tried to play off a little smile. Like, somebody's upset and then they try to play it off in front of their kids, like smile. She tried to do that. And then I wound out the window and she was like, hey, you let my grandbaby stay? And I said, no, I'm not. I said, I heard you and Jason arguing upstairs. And then she was like, that was nothing. It's okay. And then I was like, no, I'm not leaving her. It's okay. And then she told me, do you not feel safe for her staying here? I said, not with the arguing. No, I don't.
And when you say she came down, she tried to put on a little smile, but you said she was upset.
She was.
Can you tell the jurors, how did you know, what did you observe and let you know that she was upset?
She had a mug, the same mug I would do when I'm upset, cause we look just alike. And then she was walking like aggressively,
And when you say she had the same mug, what do you mean?
like she dropped her face, like poked her lip out, and I was like, oh yeah, she's upset.
And at any point during the conversation that you're having with your mom at this point, is she crying?
No, she was more so just like, like one of those like, oh my God, like I can't explain it, but she was complaining, kind of.
And who's she complaining about, or what is she complaining about?
Jason,
Did she have her dog with her when she came down?
I think the dog, I think when she came downstairs, the dog just ran. Cause she did have a dog, but her dog was like, she knew like to run and then come back upstairs in the house.
So she'd let the dog out. It's not on a leash.
No, I don't think she was on, I don't remember,
Okay.
but I think the dog was outside, but the dog was just running. Like she wasn't near us by the car.
So nothing about her during that conversation sticks out that makes the dog important or anything like that.
Not until towards the end.
Now, you said that you and your mom are having this conversation. Where's Corey during this conversation?
He's sitting next to me in the passenger seat.
Okay, and I'm assuming, if you're talking to your mom, are the windows down?
Yes.
And after your mom says the comment that you mentioned about you not think that your daughter would be safe if she stayed,
Mhm.
can you tell the
Yes.
jurors after she said that, what happened next?
She asked me that I want to come upstairs to see for myself, and I said, yeah, that's fine. And I came. We both went upstairs in the house.
So I'm showing you, it should be on the screen in front of you. I want to make sure there's not a box. Perfect. Do you recognize what's already been admitted into evidence as State's Exhibit 11?
Yes.
And do you see the car that you drove, Corey's car, parked in front of the apartment building that your mom lived at off of Sunset?
Yes, it's next to the white Chevy Malibu.
Okay. And so it's next to the white Chevron?
Yes.
So it's, if I'm looking at it, it's
Is it the red car or the pickup truck
It's the red car.
with the
Yes.
license plate in the back window?
Yes.
and when y'all, I guess, go upstairs, can you point to the jurors or show them, do you see the staircase that you went up to get to your mom's apartment? in State Street?
Yes. It's right here in the middle. The stairs. Right here.
The middle of the stairs?
Yes.
Okay. And when you and your mom are going up the stairs, can you tell the jurors, is there any conversation? What's happening?
When we went inside the house, the music was still loud and playing. And then she was like, see, everything's okay. And then Jason came from out the back of the room and he pointed in her face. I don't remember the exact words. I just remember the end. He said something and it said, motherfucker. That's what he said. And then I looked at her and I said, I'm not staying here. I'm about to go. And then she said, okay, I'm going to walk you out.
And was this your mom's apartment? Was it a large apartment?
No, it was really small.
And the jurors have seen some pictures and some videos that you'll describe in State Exhibit 11. When you go up the stairs, is your mom's apartment when you get to the landing to the right or to the left? Excuse me,
To the left.
To the left. The left.
The left.
And when you walk in immediately to a living room, a kitchen. Do you remember?
When you walk in, it's the kitchen, and then the kitchen is like combined with the living room. Like when you walk further in, the living room is literally right there because it's like really small.
And you said, so when y'all walked in.
I was standing in the kitchen.
Okay, and then when you said the defendant came from a room, did he come from the left or the right side of the apartment?
The room is like when you walk in, the kitchen, and this is the living room. It's a room literally right here. He came out that room right there on the left.
Okay. One of the bedrooms?
Yes, her bedroom, my mom's bedroom.
Okay. And you said when he walked out, did your mom say anything to him first?
No,
Okay, did he address you at all before he pointed in her face?
no, he didn't say anything to me.
Okay. And when you described that after he came in, he pointed at your mom, and you remember him saying something with effer in it. Had your mom said anything to him to, I guess, get that reaction?
No, she didn't say anything to him.
Okay. Did you say anything to him prior to him saying that?
No, I didn't say anything. I just looked at her and told her I'm about to leave. I'm not doing this.
And did you say that to her after he pointed in her face?
Yes.
And, did you go downstairs after that?
Yes, I did.
Did your mom stay up there or did she come with you?
She walked me downstairs.
And, when y'all walked downstairs, do you go back to where your car is parked?
Yes, I did.
Can you explain to the jurors, where's Corey?
He's sitting inside the car in the passenger seat.
And, is your daughter still in the backseat?
Yeah, she was asleep.
And, once you guys, you and your mom get back down to, Corey's car, can you tell the jurors, what happens next?
I was standing outside the car, like leaning on the back of the car, and she was standing in front of me, and she was just talking to me, like, cause she just seen that I seen what happened up there when he pointed in her face, and she was just crying, telling me, you know, I moved May 1st. I need your help. I need to get away from him. He's draining me. He making me do stuff I don't want to do, and I need to get away. And I told her, I said, well, I'll help you. Just let me know what I gotta do. Do I have to help you move your stuff? Like, just let me know. Then I told her, do you just want to get in the car and leave with us and go home? She said, no, I'm just gonna walk my dog. Just clear my mind.
And while you and your mom are having this conversation, is this all with the windows down and Corey
Yes.
in the same spot?
Yes, it was.
And, you said she was crying?
Yes, she was.
And can you tell the jurors, when did she start crying? Was it during that conversation? Was it as she was walking down after he pointed at her face and called her a, cuss word in front of you?
It was when she was talking to me outside downstairs. She just started, like, as she was expressing everything, she started crying.
And, at some point, does Corey get involved, I guess, in the conversation with your mom?
Yes, when I got back in the car, because after she got done talking to me, that's not an easy conversation to have with your mother or father. So I was like, I wasn't crying, but like I had like a tear come out my eye. And then he was like, can I talk to her? And I said, no. And he still insisted to talk to her. And he got out the car and he was just like, let me talk to her. And he was talking to her.
And let's talk about, your mom and Corey's relationship. Were they on good terms?
Oh, yeah, she loved him and he really loved my mom.
And, did over the 6 to 7 months that you guys had, reintroduced yourself to each other and had moved in, had she seen him fairly often?
Yes, she actually seen him for the first time a little bit before Christmas, before he went to Augusta. I brought him to her house and then I'm not gonna lie, he already kind of met my mom like a long time ago. So when he seen her again, it was just because he knew my sister that passed away. So when he seen her, it was like a rekindle type of thing. But they talked when we went to the house and he gave her a hug and it was a good relationship.
And right before this incident, and when Corey was shot, had he recently celebrated a birthday?
Yes, he did the week before on the 19th.
And, did him and your mom speak on his birthday?
Yes, she called me. We was at the bowling alley and she called me twice and I didn't pick up because we was bowling. I didn't see my phone ringing. And then she texted me and was like, tell my son I said happy birthday and I love him.
Can you tell, the jurors, what did Corey call your mom or how did he address her?
He called her back and
Stop. The objection is relevance.
It goes to impeachment, Your Honor, based on, some of the testimony that, Ms. Stucky gave yesterday about, the relationship or lack thereof.
Okay. You should repeat the question you just asked and Ms. Scott will give whatever answer she has and then let's move to a different area.
So what,
Okay.
so I think the last question was, how did Corey address your mom? What did he call her?
he called her ma.
And, so we left off where, you got into the car, you were upset after having that conversation with your mom, and, Corey gets out of the car.
Yes, and he stands by the car where I was standing at. Like when I got back in the car in the driver's seat, he came like because she was still standing in front of me. So he came like where I was by the driver's seat and was standing outside with his back turned against me, and they were talking.
So, Your Honor, can, Ms. Scott's, permission to say another kind of point on the big screen? instead of using the dots and stuff?
However you prefer, as long as Ms. Scott projects enough that Ms. Rivers can hear her while she's standing. And Ms. Feely, if you want to relocate to see where Ms. Scott is pointing, that's fine too.
Ms. Scott, I know you got an outside voice, so you gotta use it, okay?
I was in the car in the driver's seat. He got out and came standing right here in front of the window with his back turned like this. Like this is me in the driver's. He's like this, and she's standing in front of me.
Okay, so tell me if I'm wrong, if I understood that correctly, so in State's Exhibit 11, you got into the driver's seat, Corey spread forward,
Yes.
and the window was down, he got out of the passenger seat and kind of leaned up against the driver's side window,
Yes.
and your mom was standing in between the white,
Yeah, right here, facing this way.
okay, so she was in between the white car and Corey's car.
Yes.
Okay, see, thank you. And when he gets out, can you tell the jurors, do all three of you kind of continue to talk?
I didn't really talk. I was just listening, and Corey was just really talking to her, and she was talking to him, but she was crying still. Like she was just saying, "I'm not okay," and I want to go back upstairs, but I don't like what I be having to go back to. So, after she said that, that's when I was like, really, she was just crying. She just kept crying. So I'm like, I asked her again, "Do you want to come with us?" She said, "No, I'm just about to walk my dog." And then Corey said it as well, like, "It's too late to be walking your dog. Just go back in the house." And then she was like, "No, I'm just gonna walk the dog." And I was like, "No, go back upstairs in your house. Go in your house and go in the room and close the door." That's what I told her.
And during the conversation that you talked about, that you had with your mom, and the conversation that Corey's having with your mom, did she mention or talk about the defendant slitting her tires at some point?
Yeah, she said he done it like not the day before or anything like that. It was like recently though, like probably like 2 weeks before, probably a month before. I know it was recent because she brought it up.
Did she bring up that he also broken her windows?
Yes, she was like she was like, "I can't get away from him because he smashes my tires, he breaks my windows." That's what she told us.
This is all things that are being talked about while Corey and you were either in the car or standing. in the parking lot.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So how long would you say Corey and your mom talk? You described with him leaning on his car and your mom standing in front of him.
Probably like 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes.
Okay.
Everything was happening so fast, so I can't really remember the time frame.
And tell the jurors this, while you guys are all talking, can you hear anything coming from your mom's apartment?
No, at this point, you can't hear nothing but the music still playing.
And in State's Exhibit 11, is this window, which is kind of in the top left-hand corner of the exhibit, is this the one that would belong to your mom's apartment?
Yes, that's my nephew's room.
It's your nephew's room?
Yes.
Okay. And after Corey and you both are trying to either get your mom to come with you or to just go upstairs and shut the door, does she?
She didn't intend that she was gonna go upstairs because Corey said he's gonna walk her upstairs.
Okay. And when Corey says or decides he's gonna walk her upstairs, can you tell the jurors why?
He just said, "I'm just gonna walk you up there." It wasn't anything like saying like I'm not saying that he walked her up there to check him or anything. He just walked her up there, like, say if I'm walking alone through an alley, you have a guy standing right there, he's gonna want to walk you down just to make sure you're safe and then come back. It was just one of those.
Let me ask a better question. Did Corey decide, or did he say he was gonna walk your mom upstairs based on all the conversation that he and your mom had been having when she was upset outside?
Yes, he said he's gonna walk upstairs. I told him, "No, it's okay. We can drive up and watch her walk up." And he was like, "No, why would I do that? That's your mother. I'm gonna walk her upstairs."
And at any point during that conversation, did Corey ever say or indicate that he was walking upstairs because he was gonna, beat up?
No, he just said, when I told him, I said, "Don't walk her upstairs." He said, "I'm just walking her upstairs. I'm coming right back." That's what he said.
Would you say, based on what you heard and what you observed, that his main focus was making sure your mom got up there safe.
Yes, that was it.
And can you tell the jurors, do you own a gun?
Yes, I do.
What kind?
It was a Glock 40.
Okay. And was that a gun that you and Corey, I guess, shared since you were living together?
Yes,
And was that a gun that that you knew that he carried for protection?
yes, not all the time though.
And did you know that he was carrying it that night?
Yes, I did.
And at any point during the conversation with your mom, while he was in the car, and then when you were in the car and he was outside of the car, did he ever say anything about his gun, using his gun?
No,
Did your mom even know he had the gun?
no.
I want to show you, it's been marked as states as 164. Recognize it.
Yeah, it's my gun.
And is this the gun that Corey was carrying that night on April 30th of 2022?
Yes, it is.
Your Honor, at the time the state was tender, what's been marked as states as 164 in evidence?
Any objection to 164? It's admitted. When you say Mr. Blunt was carrying the gun, was it a holster? He had it in his hand?
No, it was
how
just tucked in, like in his
In his waistband?
His jacket was tucked over it, so it
Okay.
wasn't like just to have flashing out. It was just you wouldn't even know he had it. Yeah.
Okay, you couldn't see it
No.
unless he displayed it some way.
Yeah.
And to piggyback on the judge's question, where did he typically put it on his body?
On his waist, either on the left or the right side.
Okay, and if it was when it was on his waist, did he have it out like where his shirt was tucked behind it, or was his
No.
shirt always over it?
He had a hoodie on, so it was over it.
Okay, so you couldn't see it that night at all.
No.
And you talked a little bit about not only did Corey want to walk your mom upstairs, but both you and Corey said that she shouldn't walk the dog. Why?
Because it was late. And that's not, she keeps saying she lived there for a long time, but that's not a good neighborhood. So, no, I told her, you should not be outside walking a dog this late. I've never even seen you do that.
Now, when Corey walks, does he walk your mom upstairs?
Yes, he does.
And as you go with him,
No, I was in the car.
as Corey and your mom are walking up the stairs in State's Exhibit 11, can you hear anything? Is there anything unusual going on?
I text, soon as they hit the stairs, I just texted and said, everything okay? And then as I was like opening the door, I heard a glass slam from upstairs. So then I instantly get out the car and I opened the back door because my baby was in the back seat. And then I run upstairs, and from that time, I saw Corey already outside, where he was outside the door, like just standing there, and he was talking to my mom, telling her, "You're okay, just go in the house. You're okay, just go in the house." That's not telling him, "Come on, let's go."
So let me just back up just for a second. So Corey and your mom walk upstairs, and you said you text him, everything okay. Can you tell the jurors when you sent that text, how much time had passed if you had to estimate?
It was literally like 1 second. I had just sent it, and then I heard a glass slam.
Okay, so how much, before you sent that text message, and I'm sorry, I didn't ask a very articulate question, but when Corey and your mom left the car that you were sitting in the driver's seat
Yes.
towards the car, and they walked upstairs towards her apartment, you said you sent a text after they left. How much time had passed from when they left the car where you were?
It was like 30 seconds.
So you texted pretty quickly.
Yeah, because that's just how I am. Like, I don't know. I just text. Like, is everything okay? Like, I'm just asking because did she go in the house? That's it. It was just like one of those questions.
Well, let me ask this question, based on what you had seen up when you went up to the apartment, and to see if it was safe for your daughter to go to based on what you had heard. Did you feel safe?
No.
Is that why you texted Corey so quickly?
Yes.
And you said after you sent that text, a little time later, you heard arguing.
Yes.
Could you hear what was being said?
No.
And when you said you heard arguing, was it your mom and Jason?
I heard Jason's voice specifically, and I just heard my mom saying, I think she was telling, she just kept saying stop. All I heard was stop. I couldn't too much hear Corey because he has like a kind of soft spoken voice. So I couldn't really hear him, but I heard Jason. I heard him yelling.
Okay, and when you heard, and then you said you heard something break,
Yes, it was a glass.
and after that, you said you got out of the car, you opened the back door for your daughter, and can you tell the jurors what you did next?
I ran upstairs to go get Corey and told him, let's go.
I want to show you states.
Why did you open the back door?
Because my daughter was in the car asleep and I didn't want to have all the doors closed while she was in the car asleep.
Just to keep air flowing in?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so in State Exhibit 41, do you recognize the area of State Exhibit 41?
Yes.
Now, when you ran up the stairs, you said you saw Corey?
Yes, he was standing right in front of the door by that mop, like, but a little, yeah, he was standing right there by the.
You should be able to just draw a circle now. Will you draw a circle where, when you came up the stairs, where you saw Corey?
Right here.
Okay, so he, in State Exhibit 41, he's pretty close to where the mop with the red handle is.
Yes.
Okay, and when you came upstairs and saw Corey there, could you see your mom?
She was at the door, in front of the
Will
door.
you draw a circle where you believe your mom was?
She was right here.
So she's standing in the doorway?
Yes.
The door's open?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so your mom's in the threshold of the doorway and Corey's right in front of the entrance to the door.
Yes.
Okay, and you said you walk up and you see Corey and hear Corey saying what?
He just told my mom, you can go in the house, you're okay. You're okay, just go in the house.
Okay, and what's your mom saying?
She was just telling him, because Jason was behind her yelling and screaming. I really don't remember what he was saying. I just heard yelling come. He was just still yelling from inside the house. And she was just like, okay. I'm okay. And he was like, yeah, you good. Just go ahead. Just go. And then she seen me come out. She was like, all right, nah, okay. Y'all can go ahead. Bye. And she closed the door.
Nana, is your nickname?
That's my nickname. Yes.
So I want to be real specific too. So when you come up the stairs, you see Corey, you see your mom. When you see Corey, does he have a gun in each
No.
of his hands?
No.
Or is he being aggressive towards your mom? Or
No.
trying to get into the apartment?
No.
Is Corey pushing your mom out of the way or banging on the door?
No.
And when you see both of them and you hear the defendant in the background, how long does this interaction last?
It's like 10 seconds. It was really quick. I just came up there. I said, come on, let's go. And I grabbed his hand. I said, come on. And then he was like, all right. Then my mom closed the door.
Okay, so you grabbed his hand. You said your mom closed the door.
Mhm.
After your mom closed the door, what does Corey do?
We turned this way to walk down the stairs. Like he still had, to back up a little bit and then walk this way. So I was already closer to the stairs. So I was still like, I was right here. He was still right here.
Okay, so he had begun to back up from the door.
Yes, and we turned left to go down the stairs.
And so at no point after your mom shut the door, does Corey start beating on it?
No, we was leaving.
After she shuts it, he's leaving with you.
Yes, we was leaving.
When you grab his hand, does he try to pull his hand away from you so he can
No.
stay in front of the door?
No, he said, all right.
And at any point during all of the interactions, when you were upstairs the first time and Jason points in your mom's face, and when you see Corey, your mom, and the defendant here, when you come back upstairs, is there anybody else on the landing? Is it just you three and then Jason on the inside?
Yes, that's it.
Okay, no one else?
Nobody else.
And at any point, did you, when you saw Jason, the defendant, when you went upstairs, after he points at your mom and cusses at her, say, we're gonna bring, a group of people over here to hurt you?
No,
Okay. At
there
any
was
point,
nothing.
Do you even address him?
No,
Okay, and do you ever hear Corey say anything like that in the doorway?
no. He didn't even threaten him.
And when he's leaving, after your mom shuts the door, is Corey yelling, cuss words or, cussing at
No,
her?
he was just telling my mom, like, you're okay, go in the house. Like, you're okay.
And after the door is shut, is he threatening him through the door?
No,
Does Corey say anything after the door shuts?
No, we was just leaving.
And as you grab his hand and you guys begin to leave, head towards the stairs, and you tell the jurors, what do you hear? What happens next?
Literally, soon as my mom closed the door, bullets just start flying through the door. And I didn't know what was going on. I was just like, put my arms up, and then I ran downstairs.
And before the bullets start flying, and as you grab Corey's hand, at this point, has he pulled out his gun?
No, we didn't even get a chance to do anything. He didn't even get a chance to move or run. It just so sudden. We didn't see it coming.
And you hear the shots. You said you ran down the stairs,
Yes.
and you're holding Corey's hand. Does he run down with you?
No, he didn't get a chance to.
What happens?
He got shot.
How many shots, if you remember, do you hear?
Like 8. Sorry.
Here's- You take the whole box.
And after you hear the shots, do you get hit?
Just
Tell the jurors. Where do you get hit?
on the side of my head, on my leg and my arm.
Are they graze wounds?
Yes.
Are you still able to walk and do you
Yes,
fall
they
down?
healed over time. But it hurt for a good 2 months.
And do you remember what you had on that night?
Yes.
What color shirt were you wearing?
Orange.
Now, after you hear the shots, can you tell the jurors what do you do next?
I ran and I called Corey's name because he was behind me. And it was sudden, so I was confused. I didn't know what was going on. Like, it just was gunshots. I didn't know what was going on, so I was just calling his name. And then I screamed, and so I got hit in my leg, but I didn't even know he got hit. I thought in the midst of me trying to block myself from running, I didn't even know he got hit. I thought he just was ducking somewhere. I didn't know. So I came back upstairs and he was laying on the floor.
And when you come back up the stairs, and you see him on the floor, is anybody else outside around Corey's body?
When I came upstairs, I was holding my leg. My mom had opened the door and she started screaming because she seen me holding my leg. So she really thought I got shot until she came out and looked and she seen him on the floor, and that's what she saw me screaming at.
In order for her to see Corey, she actually had to open the door again.
And he was laying on the left on the floor.
And
Was that a yes? She had to open the door?
Yeah, she had to open the door.
what do you two do?
I instantly ran over there to him, to Corey, and then she went and tried to like lift him up. But then Jason was coming out the house, walking back and forth with a gun. So my daughter was still in the car, and Corey got shot. And then I'm scared for my life, so I'm pacing back and forth because I'm confused. I don't know what to do.
Do you think he was going to shoot you?
Yes,
And do you have a cell phone? Do you call 911?
yes, I had to run downstairs to the car just to get my cell phone because it was still in the car.
And tell the jurors, when you call 911, you immediately get through.
No, I had to call twice. It went to voicemail twice.
And
Well, I had to call 3 times. I'm sorry. I called twice and it went to voicemail twice.
and after you, I guess, continue to keep calling 911, do you try to find help from other places?
Yes. I ran after I went upstairs and I was calling and I wasn't getting through. And then if I'm remembering, I had the phone to my ear and I was screaming. And then I remember I was just panicking and I kept screaming for help. Nobody would help me. So I ran downstairs and I ran outside and I saw people standing out in the front. And I said, help me. And then everybody ran in the house. So I had to run up the street. And then some man from down the street came walking and he was like, it's okay, I'm going to help you. I'm going to help you. He followed me over there. He saw Jason with the gun in his hand. And he even put his hands up like, hey, I'm no harm. I'm just trying to help her.
Right. And so it sounds like you had to call 911 because you ran outside. Did you mean you ran down the stairs and into the parking lot?
I ran downstairs and turned right, and then it's like a sidewalk that leads to like a long. I don't. Could you post the picture of the
Yeah.
apartment?
I'm gonna show you states symbol one again. Okay,
I ran right here. I came out and screamed for help, and then everybody on this side just ran back in the house because they saw me with blood on my hands and on my shirt. And then I ran this way, and I ran, and then a man stopped right there. He was right here, and he
where,
said
when you say right here, where?
he was right here. He was coming down, like walking down, because he said he heard the gunshots.
Okay, so he would be in the exhibit and say,
He was walking from this way.
so for the record, so you drew a circle, on the left-hand side of the exhibit, kind of where there's a
This
black
is
car.
this is me where I was running, and then this is the guy and where he was at coming from the left where the car is.
Now, when the man, when he approaches you or when he responds to your cries for help, you guys both run up the stairs?
Yes.
Okay, and after you do that, can you describe for the jurors what is your mom still outside?
She's still out there. She was following me the whole time. Like everywhere I was going. Like I think she stayed up there for a little bit because she didn't want to. I didn't want to leave him. I think she didn't want to leave him either. When I went to go run for help, and then she followed me downstairs, and then she started following everywhere I was going. Then she seen the man, and then she followed us upstairs too. But then I really don't remember where she went after that because I remember it was just me and the man trying to help Corey.
And are you guys trying to stop the bleeding?
Yes.
Tell where Corey was shot.
And it's simple. That's the one I saw. I couldn't see the one on his chest or his back or wherever it was at.
In his temple.
Yes, that's the one that I seen visibly.
And can you tell the jurors when you are trying to help stop the bleeding, where's Corey's gun?
On his waist.
Still in his waist.
Yes.
And at some point, are you able to, you or the person, you said you handed your phone to the guy?
Yes. I really didn't hand it to him. He snatched it from me because when I finally got a hold of them, somebody picked up and I was already crying and screaming. He snatched it and was like, she can't talk.
Had you ever met him before?
No, I don't even know who that is.
And can you hear him talking to 911?
Yes, he was talking while I was trying to help Corey. He was the one actually trying to actually help me. He kept telling me, stop crying. You have to help him. You have to help him. And I was trying.
And eventually, does any members of the police department, fire department, and ambulance kind of finally show up?
Yeah, they showed up really late.
Okay. And do you recall when a police officer showed up, kind of what you did first?
When I saw them walk up the stairs, I took the gun off his waist and handed it to him and was like, this wasn't used. And the man that shot him, I don't know where he's at. He was shot. Can y'all help me, please? I was just saying a whole bunch of stuff all at one time. I was just scared, wanting to help him.
Can you explain to the jurors, why did you do that?
Take the gun off his waist. I just removed it because I didn't want them, I don't know. I just moved it off of him because I wanted to help him because I didn't know where the bleeding was coming from. So I moved it so that they can, when they lift up his shirt, I can help them. I didn't know I couldn't help because they moved me out the way. But I just moved it out the way so that they can take off his hoodie and help him. Because I said, I think he got shot somewhere in his chest because he's bleeding. The blood is coming from out his back.
Okay. And did you give the officer the gun?
Yes.
Because Corey had used it and you didn't want them to know?
No.
Okay. Did you give the officer the gun so he didn't see you as a threat?
No. Oh, you saying so that they wouldn't?
So you remember you gave a statement to several detectives and police officers that night. You remember that?
Yes.
Do you remember telling the officers that not only when you gave it to him, but afterwards, that you gave it because you didn't want him to think that you were going to hurt the officer?
Yeah. Yes.
And do you remember the officer was white, black? Cuban,
He
Asian?
was white.
And after you gave him the gun, did you continue to try to still
Yes.
help Corey?
Yes, I did.
Fill me in.
I'm sorry.
So after, I guess, medical personnel start showing up, can you explain to the jurors kind of what you do next?
When they showed up, I was showing them that he was still breathing. I said, he's still alive. And I really was yelling because I was upset because they took a long time to come. He was alive the whole time I was right there with him. The whole time I was talking to him the whole time. And I told him, I'm like, he's still alive. He's still alive. Please help me, help me. And they ripped his shirt off and they put the something on his chest.
And while all of this is happening, can you tell the jurors, where's the defendant?
He was gone. I don't know. He wasn't there no more.
Do you remember at what point you described that he had come out of the apartment and was still had a gun in his hand and he was saying things? Do you remember at what point he left?
No, I don't. I just remember when I ran to get help, he was downstairs as well, with the gun in his hand.
Where was he? When you say downstairs, where downstairs?
He was, because when I ran, I was right here. I can't draw.
Let me show you better. On State's Exhibit 11, do you see that black truck?
Yes,
Whose truck is that?
that's Jason Hall's truck.
And when you got help from the man that was walking down the street, you said you saw him. Where was he downstairs? If you can point and say something.
He was right here. He was by that.
So the one next to the black.
Yes.
If I'm looking at the exhibit to the left of the black truck.
Yes, he was just following. He was following me and my mom. My mom came down too, and she was just apologizing and crying. And I kept telling her, get off me. And I was screaming for help. And then he kept yelling something. I wasn't understanding. I wasn't thinking about him. I just wanted to get help. But he kept saying something.
And at the time that medical personnel starts to give life-saving measures to Corey, do you back off his body? Are you still there trying to help too?
Yes, they made me back off. They actually told me I had to stand back.
And can you tell the jurors after all of the Atlanta Police Department members of the department, from officers to detectives, start showing up, are you then kind of brought down to the parking lot away from the crime scene?
They picked me up and removed me from upstairs because I wouldn't leave. And I started crying because I kept asking them, is he dead? Is he dead? And they wouldn't say anything. And then it was a black police officer. It was a lady and a male. And the male picked me up. He brought me downstairs because I wouldn't leave. And I was crying.
Can you tell the jurors at any point during after the shooting, do you go into your mom's apartment too?
No.
At any point after Corey shot, does he get up and go in apartment too?
No.
Okay. Is the only person that, as you described, that kept walking in and out of the apartment around was the defendant?
Yes.
After the shooting, when the defendant walked in and out of the apartment, and then you said you saw him downstairs, until you didn't see him, did you always see him with a gun still in his hand?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes. If I remember, yes.
All right, Ms. Scott, I'm going to show you what's already been admitted into evidence. State Exhibit 123. Have you had an opportunity since April 30th of 2022 to, let me ask the question first. Did you find out, or were you also shown Ring's video surveillance that has short clips of some of what happened that night?
I just seen one itty bitty clip at the immunity earlier this year.
Okay, and I'm gonna show you the first clip, okay?